Hi everybody, I'm back with my weekly catch-up. This week I've got quite a few things to tell you about that I've been working on. So I've got quite a few projects in the pipeline. I haven't got anything to show you today, but the next big step in one of my projects is next week, so I'm going to tell you all about that. I'm also going to talk about the style that I'm wearing, which is the Yvonne coatigan. And I've also got some fabrics to show you that would be suitable to make this in. And then lastly, I thought I'd talk a little bit about the very first starting point of making a garment. So I've met quite a few new customers recently and I've been going through this process with them. So I thought I'd just talk a little bit about that. But to start with, I'll tell you about the projects I've been working on. So the biggest is my first digital sewing course. So this has been on and off for quite a few months actually, and it's now finally at the last stages and I'm going to be looking for some testers. So this is a kind of foundation for sewing, so it's all of the basic skills, step by step in detail, lots and lots of information in this course, but everything, the kind of groundwork for all your sewing. It also includes 5 projects and all the patterns. So basically I'm looking for 5 testers to test the course free of charge. There will be an application process and there will be the test will be in exchange for some information. So I'm going to be putting this application out next week, so it will go out to my newsletter subscribers first and then it will also go on to social media. So if you know anybody that's looking to start sewing and you think might be a suitable candidate, please feel free to spread the word. So that's the first thing that I've been working on. The second thing that I really wanted to get ready before Christmas, sorry to say that word at this time of year, is some kits. I wanted some sort of, again, beginner friendly, fun kits with little projects that are kind of price point friendly, that would make ideal gifts and just be a little sort of pocket of sewing fun. So I've been working on those. The first one is very nearly ready. In fact, I'm hoping I might be able to show you it next week. If not the week after, but it's going to be very close. So these, I'm planning to launch 2 in October, 2 in November and 1 in December. And like I said, they're going to be quite price point friendly, so they're going to be great for gifts. They're great fun if you want to make them for yourself. So all more details on that very soon. The other thing that I have just added into my kind of list of things that I want to work on is a potential one-day beginners sewing class. So my beginners sewing course started yesterday and it's been fully booked for quite a few months, and I actually haven't got time in the timetable to fit another one in until at least next year. So I've been kind of working on the idea on and off about doing a one-day beginners sort of start-up sewing course. So that is kind of floating around in the ideas zone at the moment, so that might be happening as well. So those were the projects that I've been working on. So what I'm going to do now is switch over to YouTube and I'm going to show you the Yvonne coatigan, and I'm also going to talk about the starting point of making your own clothing. So I'll see you over there in a minute. So the Yvonne coatigan is a kind of cross between a jacket and a cardigan, and that's exactly the intention I had when I designed this. So I designed it to be made in a stable knit, and one of the reasons I thought I'd share it today is actually one of my customers made it last week. Claire made it from a vintage cantha quilt and it worked really nicely. It looked amazing. We did make one slight adaptation to the pattern because it's designed to be made in a knit fabric. The sleeves are quite narrow, and I was a little bit concerned that the sleeve depth might feel a bit restrictive. So we did increase the width of the sleeve just a little bit, and obviously the depth of the armhole to match that. And it worked perfectly well. It was really, really nice. So the collar actually looked amazing. So it has this kind of stand collar, which is really nice and warm if you get a cold neck. And yeah, I thought that was a great version. And like I said, at this time of year I quite like having something that you can just sort of throw on as a cardigan, but you could walk down the street and be warm enough wearing this as an outer garment as well. So it's a very practical, versatile kind of style. The pattern actually has two versions on it. So there is a shorter version which has a very deep sleeve, so you've kind of got a kimono type look, and I've made that in a wool before and lined it so it's much more like a jacket, and that worked quite nicely too. But I thought I'd just show you some of the fabrics that I've got in stock and the kind of fabrics that I like this made in. So this is my ultimate favourite version. This is a very expensive fabric. It's Mind the Maker organic cotton, but it is my ultimate favourite, and it does sew like an absolute dream. So if you feel like investing, this is totally worth it. So I do have some more of this in stock, and it's so soft. It's just absolutely gorgeous, and it's a perfect weight because it's not too light, and it's just the right stability to get the nice neck shape. The other ones that I've got with designs are also, I think these are Mind the Maker or Meat Milk, I can't remember, Mind the Maker as well. Again, these are a nice stable sort of medium to heavy weight jacquard knit, really beautiful quality. So I've got this in the lipstick and navy, and I also have the same design with the grey and the green, and I think these would make stunning Yvonne coatigans. And for a more sort of casual cardigan-y version, I've got one made in a sweatshirt fabric. So this organic sweatshirting fabric would make a perfect version just for sort of like a more a cardigan casual version. So there's quite a few different colours. I just pulled these ones out because I thought they'd be nice nice shades for the Yvonne coatigan. So I've got this dusky pink, I've also got a lovely raspberry pink, and this is just really, really soft. You do need to make sure you interface the facing if you're using something a bit softer like this, if you want to keep the neck standing nicely. But it does work really beautifully. And actually another customer's used this dark sort of jade green colourway to make one, and which looked really nice as well. So there's different pocket options on the style, so you can have big wraparound pockets at the bottom, or you can have these more small classic pockets, or there's also an angled pocket which is designed to go with the cropped version, but again I've had customers that have used that as the pocket on the longer version. So you know, you can really play around with it and make it your own, and that's how I think all patterns should be really. So so yeah, those are my options for the Yvonne coatigan. So the other thing I've been thinking about is the starting point for making a garment. So I think there's three key factors we need to think about when we start making a garment. So there's the design, there's fit, and then there's our personal preference for fit. And all of these kind of need to interlink to make a successful garment. So if we start off thinking about design, there's the design intention, so there's what the designer has intended the style to look like, and that can get a little bit confusing because we often look at a diagram or a photograph of a person that's not necessarily our size wearing the garment, and we think we understand it from looking at that photograph or that diagram. But I think it's quite useful, and this is actually where I think social media is really good, is that you can often find people that have made the same garment by looking at the hashtag for that particular style. So if it's a popular pattern, there's a good chance it'll be all over social media with the hashtag of the name of the pattern. Or if you just search up the pattern and see if you can find other makers that have made it, and kind of get a bit of a cross section of people that have made it and find out if they've done any adaptations to it as well. So that can give you a better insight into what the actual shape of the garment's like if it's not completely obvious from the picture. Because often one of the things that varies a lot is the amount of ease. So the other thing we can do here is we can have a look at the finished garment measurements and compare that to our own body measurements. So I always start with looking at the body measurements and kind of finding out where we fit into that, and then looking at how much ease is intended, so we can kind of get a picture of what the style should look like. And this is probably a little bit more important when it's potentially something that's a bit loose fitting. Something that's very fitted should be very fitted, but something that's got ease, like say this cardigan, you know, it could be a lot bigger than this, but you know, without seeing the measurements you wouldn't necessarily know that. So I think it's really important to try and do a bit of research and try and see if you're not 100% sure that you want to go ahead with the pattern, then it's definitely worth having a little look and seeing if you can find other people that have made it. But then when you're feeling confident and you're ready to make that pattern, have a look at the measurements and just see, you know, where you fit in and how that would fit. One of the techniques I often do is take the tape measure at what we think we're going to make and just wrap it around your body and just see how much ease, you know, or compare this to a garment that you've got that's in the similar sort of nature, and you can lie that down and see, and just do a little bit of investigation to see which size might be the best one for you. And the other side of this is people's personal preference for fit. We've sort of reverse engineered some kind of billowy sleeves and some very full skirts for people that are very petite, because it's an overwhelming look on somebody that's very petite. Although they want to have that kind of look of the big volume sleeves or the big billowy skirts, they don't necessarily want to look like they're wearing, you know, 5 sizes too big. So we've actually taken a bit of the fabric out of the style so that it's more in keeping with their body size. So it can be a lot about personal preference. Other people prefer things that are loose in style, so they might wear a size bigger just because they want that kind of looseness, and then it might need to be adapting in other areas so it does fit properly but have a loose and softness. Other people want things very fitted and a lot more structured. So there's personal preference, there's the design intention, and there's the overall fit in general. So there's quite a few different things to think about at that very first starting point, and I really think it's worth doing that bit of work just so that you start out with you know, a good chance of getting something you're going to be happy with. But then after you've done that, I always try and encourage people to make a toile, because that's the best way really to find out if you're actually going to like it, because then you can see it, and I just think you can't actually beat making a toile, because it just gives you that peace of mind to go ahead and cut your lovely fabric and spend all that time doing it properly on something that you know the end result is going to be a good one. So I just thought I'd share that with you today. I'd love to hear what you think and how you approach making garments, and if you do a bit of extra thinking or look at hashtags. It's always great to hear from you. So I think that's it for today, and I shall see you again next week hopefully. Okay.